in order to make something real, it needs to be everywhere around you. Talk about it, dream about it, write about it, and this idea becomes a thing.
Hello, everybody. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, and today I'm bringing you a Take the Doughnut interview with Blake Morgan. Let me tell you a little bit about Blake. Blake is a customer experience futurist and author of 3 books on customer experience. Her new book is called The 8 Laws of Customer-Focused Leadership, the New Rules for Building a Business Around Today's Customer. Welcome, Blake.
Hey, so nice to be here. And I love anyone that is equally as passionate about food. And that, like, even with what I do, customer experience, there's so many paths to like that food and the restaurant industry have toward customer experience that I like seeing the donut behind you. Like, I just feel like I'm really feeling the donut vibe. I'm into it.
I love it. And yeah, it is all about, for you, it is all about involving the people who want to be on the receiving end of a message. And so, first of all, before we get into any more serious questions, I have to ask the obligatory question. What's your favorite donut?
Oh, yes. I thought about this when you reached out, actually. So I'm prepared for this question. It is hands down the apple fritter, which is not the most beautiful of the donuts. But any that like cinnamon, apple, oh my gosh, so yummy. So like crispy on the outside, warm and gooey on the inside. And I'll be honest, I don't eat a lot of apple fritters or donuts because, trying to be healthy, but I would have like a little piece of my kid's donut for sure.
Oh, yeah. And it's hard to get an apple fritter wrong. How do you mess up that amazing combination of flavors?
Yeah. So apple fritter, like as a kid growing up, like for me, my dad used to take us to Winchell's and it was always the apple fritter, hands down.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I said a little bit about you up front, but tell us more about yourself. What should we know about you?
Well, I have 2 little kids and I don't live that far from you, but I often find myself on airplanes outside of the LA area bringing my message of customer experience that if you want to win in business today, the path to more customers is actually by making their lives easier and better, by providing a compelling customer experience that makes them want to come back. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, doing keynote speeches, writing books. I've just written my 3rd book that's out July 2nd. And before that, I've worked in corporate. I worked at Intel. I used to live in New York City, doing different kind of content jobs. And I've just been doing this almost 20 years now of, well, what is customer experience? What is the language for it? What does it look like when it's done well? What do leaders need to know if they want to build customer-centric companies? And I've just been focusing on that aspect for many, many years now.
Oh, this is amazing. And you've had so many different sort of chapters of your life and your career, it sounds like, as well. And so I'm looking forward to getting into the meat of this conversation with you. And to reset this for people who haven't seen a Take the Doughnut interview before, basically it all comes from this strange thing that happened to me in college where I left an actual donut on a table, but that became an object lesson for me and what it looks like to leave opportunity behind. So now I don't want to do that. I want to take the donut instead of leave it on the table. It's another way to say carpe diem for me. I'll link a video here for those who haven't seen that before. But basically, this conversation is all about going after what you want in life. What does that look like, practically speaking? So for you, Blake, let me start with this question. How are you with going after goals? What is that process like for you?
It started when I was a little kid and I was playing sports. I'd play soccer and I wasn't the best soccer player. I didn't have the best game. I really wasn't the fastest, but I'll be honest, like as a little girl on the Killer Barbies soccer team, that was literally the name of our team, I was the most aggressive. And my dad taught me at a young age, and through sports, I learned resilience. So if you fall down, you get back up. You get back up more times than you get kicked down. And I've been using that resilience strategy, taking negative emotions like anxiety, fear, depression, hurt, anger, and I've always used them for positive. And for many, 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 many years in the morning, I usually do something physical like jogging. I remember when I lived in New York City and there wasn't a lot, I didn't have like a gym next to me or anything. I lived in Brooklyn. I used to just even rollerblade around like the neighborhood parking lot. So I've always used exercise and being physical as a form of bravery to find the courage to clear my head. Because as a young person, I was very, very shy, like not a lot of clarity going on, very insecure. And I found that as I got physically stronger, that my whole life, everything just would work out as I worked out. So like through two pregnancies, I remember flying, talk about being nervous and feeling vulnerable. I remember pregnant with my second child right before COVID, flying to Norway pregnant and being so nauseous, like getting ready to go up to speak. I had a little bag of crackers. I'm sitting there like, so no matter what phase of life I was at, like just being very self-aware and using negativity as fuel for bravery, because I would not say I was a very confident person when I was younger. So using negative emotions and repositioning them to go after what I wanted, to use so many strategies to say, oh, well, you're scared to get up on that stage. Well, what if that speaking opportunity goes to this like other confident dude who doesn't care about what he looks like? Like he's not self-conscious. Like, do you want him to have that opportunity because you're too scared? No. And like using these kind of mental techniques to really push myself to do things I wasn't comfortable doing.
It's amazing to hear how it started for you, as you know, feeling so shy, and to think about where you are now. It just goes to show you you can do hard things in life. Like you can make these
Yeah.
transitions. It's totally possible. It's beautifully
Yeah.
said. So okay, so you're able to go after the thing that you want, but let's say it's a goal that's going to take a lot of doing. It's going to take a lot of time to get there, a lot of effort. How do you stay motivated in that process?
I very much focus on what's in front of me for better or worse. Like honestly, I don't have a great memory. But I'm very much like focused on what's happening right now and today. And I don't think so much about like the big things. I really get very granular. And like now that I have so much responsibility, I have two kids, I have my own business, my husband has his own business, we have two aging dogs. You know, as you get older, the responsibilities just stack up. I've learned like make lists. Okay, I have so much to do today. Okay, I write it down. Sometimes I just send myself emails of things I need to buy on Amazon at the end of the day. So I think just getting really kind of granular and not getting overwhelmed, staying in the moment. Meditation helps quite a bit. Do meditation every single day. So I don't actually think I didn't start out going, okay, I want my business to make all this money and these are the clients I want and this is the amount of speaking gigs I want and how much I want to get paid. I just started by saying yes. I got laid off from Intel, the corporate company, and I had one person approach me for a webinar. I think I charged them like $8,000, and that was my first client. That's all I had, but it was enough of an open door. This whole business could dry up tomorrow, but I keep going by focusing on the open doors, the opportunities, and every client is like a yes to keep going. And I've just been doing that for 9 to 10 years, just keep going. But again, don't focus on, it's like they say every overnight success story was actually 10 years in the making. So I started planting these seeds back when I was 22, and I started attending Toastmaster meetings in New York City because I was so shy. I wasn't a good speaker. Then I became president of our club, which forced me to get up to the podium and constantly, be brave. So just if you just start small and like planting the seeds and walking in the direction of yes, eventually the life gets bigger, but you don't start with the end in mind. You just start very granular.
Oh, what an amazing way to put that. I found that inspiring myself. So as you're going through that process, a lot of times it's not the easiest road to get from here to there, and there are challenges that come up, there are obstacles. For you, is there any particular brand of challenge that just seems to keep coming up over and over again? Like, what is the Achilles heel that you encounter?
Oh yeah, like I'm my own worst enemy. I have trolls every day. I have to deal with my own trolls in my brain. Like even when I'm working out, sometimes the trolls, the trolls in your brain, they're trying to actually keep you safe. They're going, play it small, that's too big, they're trying to constantly keep you safe. But how it shows up in your mind is criticisms. It's you're beating yourself down because the trolls don't want you to fly to Switzerland, which I just did a week ago, or run 2 miles in 20 minutes for your workout. Like, oh, it's too hard. Don't do it. So in your mind, you're constantly having to battle the trolls. And there's a few interesting things I've recently discovered that I liked. Phil Stutz has a really cool documentary on Netflix. He's a famous psychologist, and he says something that I found really interesting. And that is take the most shameful persona in your life. Like it's hard to explain. For me, I'll say it's when I was in college, I was really chubby, I didn't have any style. I showed up in New York City at 21, overweight, no style. Everyone around me is like amazing and gorgeous and successful. Here I am. That probably isn't the Instagram photo I want you to see right now, but I always take her with me. The unsure, doesn't know what to say, anxious, chubby. I take her with me. I don't hide her. I'm not ashamed of her. And so Phil Stutz has this idea in his documentary that I think the documentary is called Stutz on Netflix. Take the part of you that you're always trying to hide, ashamed, embarrassed of, and bring her with you. Don't try and push her down. Bring her with you. She wants to come with you. And I heard another quote recently from a podcast guest on my own podcast, which is tell yourself, I believe you. I believe you. I'm not sure if this is answering your question, but these are just some mental hacks to help overcome some of the internal trolls that we can face where we don't feel like anyone believes us. And if you just say to yourself, I believe you, it just kind of makes you relax. It's like, okay, like I'm parenting myself now. So now we can be together.
So many good tips here. I'm interested to see, if we think back historically for you, this could be a personal answer, a professional answer, whatever comes up. What would you say is the biggest donut you've ever taken, biggest opportunity in your life that you've said yes to?
I was living in New York City and I was 25. My fiance, well, in my mind, he was my fiance, but he had no intention of marrying me. But he was like this great guy. He drove a nice car. He was handsome and charismatic. And I thought he was going to be my husband. Well, he broke up with me. And that was a real big turning point for me. It was like my whole world was thrown. I thought this person was my future. And it started a kind of depression for me where I stopped sleeping in New York. I just wasn't thriving anymore. I had been there 5 years. I go to a conference. I beg my boss to let me go. It's a conference on the topic I still focus on today, customer relationship management in 2010. So I go to this conference and I meet the nicest guy. He's so cute. He's my age. We have so much in common. It's uncanny. I call my mom. I say, I met somebody. I go back to New York. He coincidentally is coming to New York for work 2 weeks later. The rest is history. I fall in love with him. It's my now husband, Jacob. At the time, did it make sense for me to move a month later from New York to San Francisco to be with someone I just met? No. But I knew in my gut, this person was so special, I couldn't pass this up. And so 14 years later, we're still together. We have 2 children. But there's those moments, those donut moments in life where you basically have to make that decision in a split second, or the opportunity could pass. And I think that involves trusting yourself, really having the confidence that if this decision I make, if something goes wrong, I'm going to be able to handle it. I'm going to be able to figure it out. That helps you take bigger and bigger risks, but they have to be calculated bets. And at the time, I'll be honest, I really didn't have much to lose. I was done with New York, done with my job. Here's this great guy who comes along and this opportunity to relocate. And I actually found a new job in a month. So, but it's the confidence in yourself that even if I get kicked down or kicked around, I'll be able to get back up. I will support myself. I will figure it out. And that confidence really gives you the guts to do big things.
Yeah, I think confidence absolutely comes from experiences and learning how resourceful we are and that things can work out if you take that risk and it works out. It's a confidence builder. What do you have going right now? Is there a donut that you're currently taking?
The donut I'm currently taking, well, I would say this year for many entrepreneurs has been kind of like windy with the economy and inflation. For content creators, it's just a little uncertain. So I think being okay with things not being normal still in summer of 2024, it's June as we're recording this, and going after opportunities, being more aggressive, going after consulting projects, and having the confidence to say, well, I'm a professional speaker, but you know what? I've done some consulting and I can handle your company. I'm going to help advise you. And in sales, when you do like what we do when you're a speaker, I mean, you are in sales and you deliver the product, but maybe now in an uncertain economy, you have to be more aggressive than you did before and put yourself out there in a way you haven't had to do for many years. So I would say taking the donut is just being willing to put yourself out there, be confident, be aggressive with sales, understand the value that you have to offer, and just taking the risk, even if it's uncomfortable.
Hmm. Great advice. So there may be people who are listening to this who have a donut of their own they want to take. It might still be an idea, or maybe it's something that they've started towards, but they're not sure what the next step is for them. So let's sprinkle some encouragement. And what advice would you give to those folks who have something they want to do and they are just trying to figure out how to get going on it?
I would say talk about it, dream about it, talk to people, talk to your friends. You know, there are times when you shouldn't share an idea because it's nascent, it's new, and you don't want people to just say like, "Oh, don't do that." But I think that really mentally stable and well-balanced people, they can take criticism. They can take negative feedback. People can say, "I don't like that idea." But I think that in order to make something real, it needs to be everywhere around you. Talk about it, dream about it, write about it, and this idea becomes a thing. The second piece of advice I'll give your audience is that, like, let's say writing a book, you might think, what do I have to say that's never been said? Or I'm making a video. What can I put on video that's never been said? The difference is actually you. It's the passion you bring, it's the enthusiasm. If you are excited and passionate about what you are doing, you could be selling ice. It doesn't matter. People will be excited too because the world needs enthusiastic, passionate people. And everything has been done. But what hasn't been done is your particular passion and uniqueness that you can bring to something, whatever that may be.
Hmm. So well said. Everybody go out there and do the thing and make it be all around you so that you can't get away from it. I like that advice. So for those of us who want to follow your journey, where can we find you? And also I'll just say, so this video will probably drop in early August. So also, where do you think we should look to find your book at that point?
Sure. Well, I am all over the internet at Blake Morgan. You can learn about my book at 8cxlaws.com. And I would love to connect with your audience. I also have a YouTube channel, so head over to YouTube to find Blake Morgan. And thank you so much. This has been really fun.
Oh, this has been a blast, and I'll make sure to put all those links into the description for this video. And everybody, be sure to check out those resources. And if you liked this interview with Blake, be sure to like and subscribe on this video because there's so many inspirational interviews still to come. But in the meantime, Blake, thank you so much for taking time to talk with me, to talk with all of us, and to share your thoughts about opportunity. It's been such a blast to talk with you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And congrats to you on this really fun brand about Take the Doughnut. I love that. And looking forward to seeing more of your interviews too.
Likewise. All right. Well, everybody, you know what to do. Go out there, get inspiration, and get donuts. Bye, everyone.